All right, so we are starting a new topic today, and I just want to start by just introducing all of us to what an equation actually is. What actually defines an equation? So I'll try to make this as short and sweet as possible, but I just want to give you guys some examples along the way as well, just to give you the skills to really be able to distinguish an equation from other things. Now, an equation essentially is anything with an equal sign. So, any mathematical expression with one side and an equal sign leading to another side, for example. So, an equation, let's say, I don't know, 6 plus 3 equals 9. This is an equation. Why? Because it has an equal sign. That is literally all it takes for something to be an equation. Now, a lot of people get confused sometimes because equations often gets taught after students get introduced to algebra. At least in Australia, where I come from, we usually teach algebra in year 7, and then we go straight into equations afterwards. So students are so used to seeing what we call expressions. So something like, I don't know, 2x minus 5, for example. Now, this thing here is what we call an expression. Now, to be clear, this is a mathematical expression. So just something with numbers and letters. This is a bit different to, the expression on someone's face or expressing your feelings. We have to kind of split the maths definition of words from our everyday definition. So this thing here is called an expression. So just some kind of letters and numbers, from what you would have seen in algebra, and some kind of mathematical piece of information. That's what an expression is. Now, this is not to be confused with an equation. This is a completely different thing. This is just an expression. This is us just showing a mathematical idea. To make this an equation, we would need to add an equal sign. So, let's say 2x minus 5 equals 11. This now becomes an equation. Now, we have an expression on the left-hand side. This is an expression because it's any combination of algebraic terms and regular terms, as well as, an operator. So adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. We're also multiplying here. But this entire thing is an equation. Why is it an equation? Because it has an equal sign. An equal sign is all we need to say that something is an equation. Now, let's just quickly try to distinguish what we call true or false equations. Now, a true equation is just a mathematical statement, some true statement with an equal sign. So, for example, 6 times 3 equals 18. This is, first of all, it's an equation because it has an equal sign, but it is also a true equation because 6 times 3 gives us 18, and the right-hand side equals 18 as well. So in essence, the left-hand side, I'm going to write that as LHS, equals the right-hand side, RHS. This is what makes an equation true. So I'll maybe write a little dot point here. So an equation is true when the left-hand side is the same as the right-hand side. Right-hand side. Cool. This is the definition that we have here. Now, you may argue, well, 6 times 3, this looks different to this, but when we actually do the maths, when we do the arithmetic, when we actually multiply this through, we end up with 18 on the left-hand side, 18 on the right-hand side. So, for example, let's look at a different example. I don't know, 4 minus 2 equals 5. This is a false equation because 4 minus 2, that gives me 2, and 2 does not equal 5. That's why I've drawn this little red line through it. So this is what we call a false equation. Now, the process of solving equations, the things we're going to be looking at over the next few videos, deals with us finding a value of an unknown that makes an equation true. That is the process of solving equations. So, for example, if I have x divided by 2 equals 4, what we're looking at to solve this equation, we want to find a value of x that makes the left-hand side equal the right-hand side. So a value of x that when we substitute it in, so we put it in to here instead of the x, we substitute the x with this number, then we get, for example, we want to make 4 on this left-hand side, and we want to make that equal to the right-hand side. Now, we can actually do this question because I'm sure a lot of you probably know your basic times tables. So we can actually, before we even look at any techniques for solving equations as these get harder, let's just use our basic knowledge of times tables, and let's see what value of x will give me something on the left-hand side that is equal to something on the right-hand side. So what number, when we divide it by 2, gives me 4? Well, some of you, who I hope most of you, will be able to figure this out. We know that 8 divided by 2 equals 4. So 2 goes into 8 4 times. That's what we do when we divide. So 8 divided by 2 gives me 4, and that is the same thing as the right-hand side. That's this kind of idea up here. We've found a value of x that makes the left-hand side the same as the right-hand side, or equal to the right-hand side. So to solve equations, this is all we're going to be doing. We are going to be trying to find a value of our unknown which makes the equation true. So let me actually just write that down as a little summary of what we've done today and a little heads up to what we're going to be looking at in the next few videos. So to solve an equation, we are looking for a value of the pronumeral. By pronumeral, I just mean running out of space. I just mean the letter that substitutes the number from algebra. So this x, for example, is a pronumeral. So to solve an equation, we are looking for a value of the pronumeral that makes the equation true. true. And I'm going to put in brackets here. The left-hand side has to equal the right-hand side. That is what we're going to be working through with our numbers and the systems we come up with. All this topic is about is finding values for pronumerals like we did up here, a value for x or y or a or b or any letter, any unknown, any placeholder for an actual number, that when we put it in, when we substitute it in like we did here, that makes, once we simplify it, the left-hand side equal to the right-hand side. This is the essence of equations. This is what we're going to be talking about when we try to solve these equations. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in all the next videos.